So Bitcoin, Ethereum catching a bid after falling following ETF approval news. I love Peter Schiff. I told you Bitcoin. I mean, he said Bitcoin's going to zero forever. Buy gold for the last 15 years. And, every single asset, you could have bought a rock and it'd be worth more than gold. A rock that doesn't have any minerals in it. And you probably sell it for more, make more percentage-wise than what gold went up in the past, since 2013, 14 when it hit the top? I feel like it's trading at 1,900 to 2,000 and back and forth for at least 3-4 years, it feels like, right? But all the bears came out and said, oh, the ETF's not a big deal. Listen, we held an event. We told you about this. We said, look, the catalysts for Bitcoin have never been greater. And it's the ETF approvals. It's going to bring billions and billions of constant flows into the market. And then you have the Bitcoin halving coming, which happens every 4 years. They reduce supply growth in half, which automatically results in Bitcoin, the price moving higher, right? If you lower supply and just keep demand the same, it's going to go higher. But you're not keeping demand the same because you have this massive demand coming in for the first time of billions of dollars going into these ETFs that are buying Bitcoin. So after the ETF approval, we said it's probably going to come off a little bit, and it did. But it's going to be one of the greatest buying opportunities because it's not just the ETFs. That's just one of many, many, many catalysts. Okay, because now you turn this industry, which used to be cyclical, into a secular growing industry with this money constantly coming in for years and decades to come. Because it's here, funds want it. More importantly, the funds want it because people want it. They want to invest. That's their goal right now, especially if you're under 40. Every reason to buy gold, you worry, central banking, spending like crazy, safe it, whatever. It's Bitcoin. People going into Bitcoin. Now, we all know, or you should know, that Bitcoin does very well into the halving, which occurs every 4 years. It does well into it, and also does well for about 18 months after. But we also had this sell-off because you see demand's not really there after 2 years, and then it comes down into the next halving, right? So you see, this constant up and down, cyclical market. Now you have this demand coming in where you're going to see constant demand over the next 4 years. So the next Bitcoin halving is in April, just a couple months away. And the last time this happened, May 2020, May 11, 2020 to be exact, Bitcoin surged 640% over the next 18 months following the halving. So, great news. You want to own Bitcoin. But like I said earlier, with AMD and NVIDIA, and like I say all the time, it's not just I'm telling you I wouldn't buy Disney, get rid of Disney. It's that there's much better place than Disney here. Now, Bitcoin does well, and you hear that everywhere. But what you might have not known is that if you look at the crypto market in terms of total market cap and you strip out Bitcoin, it went up over 2,000% over the same time frame in 18 months compared to 645% for Bitcoin. So nearly 3 to 1, the rest of the crypto market went up. And people don't talk about that. They're like, Bitcoin halving, got to own Bitcoin. I get it. Okay, this is the huge opportunity. When you look at cryptos, don't think about them being shit coins. They're software companies. But now that you're seeing the money pour in, now that you're seeing the regulation, all the failures, FTX and all this garbage have failed, all this garbage removed from the industry, now you're going to see the innovation come. And it's some of the most incredible innovation because it's disrupting the biggest boys club in the world, which is the financial sector. And that's exciting. All these bullshit fees you pay, all the banks bail out anyone they want. They could take on as many risks as we saw in credit crisis and destroy people. Nobody goes to jail ever. All this bullshit. That's how Bitcoin was launched anyway, right? 2008. Why? Credit crisis. All bullshit, avoid central banks, all this crap. But now you're seeing innovation. You're seeing great, great companies. A lot of these names are in our portfolio, Crypto Intelligent portfolio now. So when you see the halving coming too much, you're going to see tons of headlines, but they're only going to be mentioning Bitcoin. But you look under the hood, you're better off owning a lot of great names or having exposure to these names. It's a risky sector, don't get me wrong. I'm not telling you to sell Bitcoin. Okay, I own Bitcoin. I'm not going to sell it. But imagine instead of generating 645% returns on Bitcoin, 18 months, the halving, you could have generated over 2,000% on Ethereum, 4,000% on Binance, 8,000% on Polygon. Notice that you heard a lot of these names. That's why I pulled them. I'm just cherry picking here or there. These are names that you know. Dogecoin, 10,000%, Solana up over 13,000%. Axie Infinity up 24,000%. Where could you possibly see those gains in the stock market? Please tell me. I've been doing this for 30 years, especially now. You might have been able to do it 10, 15 years ago, buying some of these big technologies really early on. Now it's almost impossible because they come out IPO at stupid valuations. And if things work out, you'll see 300-400% gains. Good for you. Almost every single SPAC has gotten annihilated because they came out at crazy valuations. Insiders cashed out $22 billion. They cashed out of these companies. They told you, well, great companies, buy them, hold them long term. Well, you got fucking annihilated. And now, Gary Gensler, SEC, what a great man. Now you're going to provide regulations. Finally, on SPACs, when nobody's launching them and nobody cares after Wall Street's out of them. You wonder why Bitcoin and crypto is a big deal. This is why. These are the returns that you could generate. So next wave of cryptos, again, don't look at them as shit coins. Some of them are, but these are software companies. Innovations, they're coming. Many of these names we found, Crypto Intelligence Portfolio, like I just mentioned, and they're doing well. It's been on fire the past 4 or 5 months. Before that, we know crypto has been terrible. FTX, Celsius, a lot of this shit. But 4 months ago, I was selling this newsletter and said, buy it because you could buy the best names and generate massive returns. Just like in 2008, 2009, the bottom of that market, over 20% of the S&P 500, roughly 20%, was trading under $10 a share. I don't know if you'll find any company S&P 500 trading under that. Maybe a couple. Now, I held a live event, and this was in December. I highlighted massive catalysts coming for Bitcoin and crypto, the Bitcoin ETF approvals and stuff like that, but also said, look, buy now. You're probably going to see a short-term pullback in Bitcoin after the ETF approvals, right? Sell the news event like we see in stocks. Many of you attended that event, and it's for absolutely free, right? You attend the event, and I couldn't believe how long you stayed on. I think we held it for 2 hours, only because an hour and 15 minutes of that was Q&A, and it was live. It wasn't like, hey, it's a live event. It's a PowerPoint with me talking in the background. It's live. If I drop coffee on me, make fun of me. Go into the chat. Have fun with it. And got a great turnout. I couldn't believe how many people stayed. And just asking questions about crypto. It was awesome. Again, free event. So next Thursday, I'm going to hold another live event, Crypto 2024. It's not going to be 100% about Bitcoin. It's going to be about showing you how to position yourself to potentially make enormous gains. 5,000, 10,000% gains that I would never say in my life. As you know, when you see things that we promote, I don't say that often. But we're not cherry picking ideas here. I mean, these are massive gains that you could see in crypto. Wall Street's not covering this. These are names that you can get in early, during the very early stage, at $10 million, $20 million, $30 million valuations. And if they work out, they become the Solanas, Cardanos, all these, Avalanche, all these great names. Again, names that we have in portfolio that we're doing incredibly well on. They show you how to find those ideas. So the event, Crypto 2024, it's going to be at 7 p.m. It's going to be Thursday, next Thursday. So not tomorrow, but next Thursday. Okay, so to register, absolutely for free, go to CurzioCrypto.com. Again, live event. It's not going to be like a 45-minute thing. I'm probably going to talk about 15 minutes of some of the stuff I'm talking about and show you how it's not just Bitcoin. Because there's people that are just religiously tied to Bitcoin. That's fine. It should be part of your portfolio like a Microsoft or an Apple's part of your portfolio. It doesn't mean you don't own small caps. You should have exposure to risk. And when you're buying risk, it's about risk reward. Something I've done all my life within small caps. And when you look at the potential reward of the risk that you're taking, you have to have exposure to crypto. A little exposure. You could lose money. Of course you can. But the amount of money you could make could be life-changing. It allowed me to buy a brand new house and build my first ever house in a great neighborhood in Jacksonville. And these are the gains that crypto could offer you that you can't find anyplace else. So again, register for this event. It's free. Go to CurrzioCrypto.com. And next Thursday, which is February 8th at 7 p.m. So first 15 minutes, provide charts, talk a little bit, and then it's going to be a Q&A. Ask me whatever you want. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun last time, and I couldn't believe, again, how many people stayed on. I said, all right, fine. I was just hanging out. I'm probably going to have beers with me this time. Just drink beers and answer questions and talk and have fun, right? That's what you want. You want to be a fun event, cool event, educational. You guys learning about crypto and understanding why you need to be in this. And nobody's really talking about crypto coming back. Why? Because we have these big earnings coming, and we have the Fed coming out today, which everyone's saying is not a big deal, which I said wouldn't be a big deal in December, and look what happened. It's the pivot. Now they walk back to pivot, back and forth, all this bullshit. But in the middle of this, crypto is just catching a bid, and it makes sense going into the halving, and it's going to make sense long after that. With the amount of money coming into ETFs, you have to have exposure to the sector. It's real, and have exposure to the right cryptos. Not just any bullshit ones or garbage. That's my job, to really dig through and find out the best names for you. And I'm going to teach you how to do that. How to get exposure, what platforms to use, how to stay safe. Everybody's worried about crypto and money getting stolen and stuff like that. That's why you see all these stories being highlighted. I think I read a stat, like less than 0.4% of all transactions were legal in all of crypto. You don't hear that stuff, right? The government doesn't want you to hear that stuff. They want to shut this shit down, because it impacts the very industry that they protect, which is the financial industry and the banks. That's why Jamie Dimon hates this industry so much. Elizabeth Warren talks terrible about it. Most politicians hate it because they get lots of money from the banking industry, and it provides them control. This is the only industry in finance, right? If you look at all the industries across the board, guys, if you look at the banking sector, it's the only sector where you can't start a company and become one of the largest in the world, like Tesla did with autos. You can go throughout all industries. Meta became one of the largest companies in the world. NVIDIA just surpassed Intel and everybody else, to become the best chip maker in the world and the greatest. You can't do that in banking. They don't allow it. They just don't allow it based on the capital ratios. So no matter how great you do in banking, you're not allowed to get into that top four. It's a boys' club. So when every bank fails, they take the assets, the Fed backs them, and they give them JP Morgan for free. And then JP Morgan fires all his employees. That's why it's trading at an all-time high. Again, a lot of bullshit. Crypto disrupts that entire industry, which is by far, forget about technology, finance, by far the most powerful industry in the world. So next Thursday, February 8th, 7 p.m. if you're interested. Again, you can register by going to CurzioCrypto.com.